Panels! What you doing? I'm your Otakutainment, theacstories, with this Otakutainment reviews. I am talking about the new manga, Under Doctor by Kyo Tanimoto, or as some people know from past works, Tatsuya Tanimoto, known mainly for some one-shots like Heiwa Machine, Gu to Gu, Hoshi Kitaru, Futari no Koroshiya, and Mina no Bodyguard. Also known mainly, since people are discovering this, as an assistant for My Hero Academia. We don't know exactly how long, but the translation is by Dan Luffy, the lettering is by Tom Kill Course, and the medical consultant for the series is Yasuhiko Tomita. This is chapter 1, the doctor named Haiji, the typical 55 pages long. It came out on January 25th, 2026 on Weekly Shonen Jump in the 2026 9th issue. It is also in English on Manga Plus, Viz/Shonen Jump if you want to find it there. Now, I have a little bit of a bone to pick. When reading the summaries for this series, and which sometimes I forget to do, but I've been remembering more for these reviews, Manga Pluses gives you a decent idea. It's a decent summary. If you want to live, find him. If you don't want to die, don't go near him. He is the greatest doctor and the strongest hero. The legend of the underworld. Under Dr. Haiji. Medical drama, cross, heart-pumping action. Cool. Decently written summary. Not one that particularly interests me, but a lot better than what you find on Viz, which is From Death Dealer to Death Healer and Assassin turns Doctor. They just needed a tagline, I guess, because that tells me nothing really, and it really almost turns me away when it's like, oh, another assassin thing? I don't care about another assassin thing. Luckily, these summaries do not do justice to this series, at least this first chapter. And I hope the pacing and how this first chapter goes continues on through the rest of the series, because I actually really liked it a lot more than those summaries led me to believe. So, before I get into any of the spoilery parts though, it is one of the most organic ways to start a series I've read in a really long time. It introduces the main characters and abilities without having to just be like, well, this is why, let me introduce you to this character. It throws you into a situation that the character is needed, and then gives you a reason the character is saying the abilities anyways. It's because there's another character that asks how the main character Haiji is able to do everything, and then that's the explanation. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to randomly blur it out, or we don't need a narrator telling us everything. It's so organic, and it flows so well as a way to just kick everything off. Now, at first, I thought this would be, oh, another Doctor manga was supposed to be actiony, fighty, whatever. I was like, well, there was another series called The Dark Doctor Ikaru that I read. Is it going to be something like that? No. And as much as I like the other series, which seemed to need to get canceled because of the creator's health, this one is something completely different. Now, the main character, as much as I seem like I'm going to like the character, there's a reason I'm going to like the character, because it's a mix of many other characters. Haiji is like Leorio Hyuga the Third. It just has the same appearance and glasses, kind of. Also, being a doctor, being in a medical field as Leorio, but also has the eye powers and the pressure point kind of fighting as, you know, the Hyuga clan, I guess specifically, I think first of Neji, and then has that kind of charm and escape, just kind of vibe of Lupin the Third. Not too much. So far, there's no perviness, so we won't get that. But the last scene is Haiji jumping out of a plane, parachute, and it has that kind of like mojo to how things are approached, I guess, and like a cool vibe. Now, the art looks good. It keeps kind of a lighter tone, even with kind of more realistic, kind of almost darker kind of art style, but it doesn't feel like it. It does help feel lighter. And the action, though, is not probably going to be my best thing to get out of this. The fighting is whatever. The art panels for the fighting is just like, kind of messy, not really even gritty, but it's nothing that's going to stand out and be amazing. But I think what also helps with this lightness of it is how the colors pop in the title page, mainly the very first page. But it also throws me off for a reason I don't really understand. And the best thing I can think of is it looks kind of like it's supposed to be cel shaded, but it doesn't fully commit. And then another little thing looking through this is some of the faces are kind of blocky. And I don't know if that's going to be a theme throughout as far as the artistic style of how some of the characters, and it's not all of them, but there's just two that just really stand out. So let me actually go through what happens in this first chapter, break some stuff down about what I really like. And there's really not that much that I don't like. So it starts with our hero asleep while an emergency is going on. Emergency is one person in a little bit of pain. Emergency for that person for sure. And there's a flight attendant that knows Haiji could be the one to come and help. No, has a pretty good idea, at least. We see a flashback immediately of Haiji running late for the flight, notices the flight attendant has a headache and tells how to help it. So it has a pretty good idea. Haiji's probably a doctor, but is unsure, points out a weird laugh. I don't know if that's going to be a running gag at some point throughout this. It's only brought up once in this chapter. But eventually, though, the doctor, Makoto Ishiguro, from the Mikage University Hospital, comes to help. Says it's food poison, they just need to turn back, get actual hospital help. Which, I don't know. I've had food poison. It's never been that bad. Is it enough to turn back? I don't know how far along they've been flying. I don't know how long the flight is from Singapore to Tokyo. I think they said it's like 6 hours. Maybe it is necessary. I don't know how bad the pain is. I never had food poisoning that bad, I guess. But then Haiji does actually wake up to give a second opinion that, yep, this is food poisoning, but we can continue to Tokyo because Haiji activates the Byakugan. Kind of ridiculous. Doesn't look weird. Still looks like normal eyes. And it's able to just hit a pressure point that helps dull the pain. At least enough so the person says, I'll be fine until Tokyo. Cool. Because the person also wanted to go to Tokyo. I mean, like I said, I don't know how bad the pain is. I would probably just want to tough it out anyways. I'm already in this trouble. Now, this is my favorite part of the whole thing. Because you would think Dr. Ishiguro would be like jealous, be like spiteful, be like, oh, why are you doing this? This was my patient, blah, blah, blah. But no, that doesn't happen at all. Dr. Ishiguro is actually thankful, fascinated even by how Haiji was able to do this and wants to learn how, figure out how this was possible. And then Haiji tells the story of having special eyes that can see kind of lights or places on people that are weak spots. And this doctor believes it. It's because there are still so many unknowns with the body. So I like Dr. Ishiguro. I hope this character comes back, becomes a recurring character, and if not that, at least just shows back up. There's so many times in first chapters where you get this character and they actually seem like decent characters and then they're just forgotten about. I hope this doesn't happen. I like Ishiguro as a character and how it's just, defeats my expectations like, oh, you're going to be bitter about it. No, you're a good person. You actually care about being a good doctor. It's not just about ego. Unfortunately, though, things go bad. Dr. Ishiguro, they're kind of snuck up on and then shot. Luckily, Haiji has a bulletproof jacket, so it doesn't hurt. The doctor, though, is shot twice. And by some hijackers who want 20 billion yen or they're going to crash the plane into Tokyo in 1 hour. No, they have an hour, or they're going to eventually crash the plane into Tokyo, or these hijackers are really helping that person who had food poisoning because an hour seems pretty fast now. But it takes too long, and they eventually start threatening to kill a crew member every 30 minutes, and then the passengers. There was some hesitation with Dr. Ishiguro letting Haiji save him, because it would have taken Haiji, or it would have taken another doctor, about 90 minutes to do this kind of surgery. And the doctor just wants Haiji to save himself, forget about it. But Haiji's like, is that really what you want? I'm not asking if you want me to abandon you. I'm asking, do you want to live or not? And the doctor's like, I still got patients waiting for me. This character's showing great. I really hope you come back. So, yeah, let's Haiji save him. And it doesn't take the whole 90 minutes. Only takes 58. 2 minutes before the hour is up. Cool. But still would have had another 30 minutes regardless. I'm glad we didn't have to start that 30-minute countdown at all. So, Haiji goes up to fight. And this is where it kind of just like, do we really need a fight? I don't think we really needed a fight. There's one point that's a little too unrealistic where Haiji's like, use a scalpel to smack away bullets, I think it was, if I'm remembering correctly. The rest is like, okay, this makes sense. You already established pressure points. So the rest of the fighting is Haiji just poking at pressure points. It's nothing fantastic. I wish there would have been a more clever way to do this instead of just straight up, I'm just going to fight. Like, you're supposed to be a doctor. Maybe do something a little bit with your brain more than with just your fingers. But we do get in the middle of this a flashback of one of Haiji's parents forcing combat training and makes the only mention of trying to make Haiji into an assassin. Never at any point does it say Haiji actually was an assassin. And then the climax of the fight, fighting the big blocky head leader of the hijackers. It's kind of a JoJo-esque kind of, and it's just saying a bunch of words, but instead of being cool or funny, it's just kind of messy. It's just all over the place. And it's like nothing bad, nothing terrible. It's just like, it just wasn't necessary. But like, I'm pretty sure the words that were popping up were like the key pressure points that you have to be really careful about or do some serious damage. But yeah, that's it. Conflict over. Cool. I don't want too much fighting. Everything else is like, oh, okay. Like, there can be a little bit when and the situation really calls for it, but like, outsmart them more. That's what I'm wanting to see more of. We don't need more random battle shonen. Okay, anyways, everything's fine. Dr. Ishiguro's fine. Day is safe. So Haiji's like, well, I don't want the attention once we land. I'm just going to parachute away. And does exactly that. Parachutes away. This is the very Lupin-esque kind of scene. And falls asleep. And while sleeping, we hear someone else talking to Haiji. But we never see. I never even see an earpiece if I remember correctly. Maybe it's in the glasses. Who knows? They do have kind of like thick ends. And so now we have another mystery who this is. It feels a lot more spy-esque than it does assassin or doctor-esque at this point. But I guess we'll have to see because that's how it ends. So yeah, my biggest gripe is just, aside from that one line in the flashback, there's nothing about Haiji being an assassin in the past or currently. It's like, yeah, training to be one, but that Viz summary really just kind of threw me off a little bit. Because we see, even through all this fighting, Haiji is very intent on not killing, as if, has never killed before. So that's why I'm thinking, hopefully, Haiji hasn't actually been an assassin. Maybe has been having to deal with underground stuff, but I don't know, we don't need more actual assassin stuff. It'd be okay to have something a little bit more original. And I just hope all this battle stuff is kept to a minimum. And I really don't want it to get weird and crazy and there'd be like superpower kind of stuff. The deflecting a bullet with a scalpel was already kind of a little too far-fetched for me. As far as how I wanted this to go, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people who only want us to be fighting. This is a doctor. Come on. But we'll just have to see where it goes. And for my sake, hope for the best for what I will. Whether people agree with me or not. So last thing, of course, as always, is the title. Refers to underground doctor. Sure, under doctor though, I feel is just a weird name. There wasn't an alternative Japanese name. So I don't know if this is a literal translation or just the creator wanted this name. And maybe underground doctor would be too basic. Under doctor is at least something different. It'll say either one of those terms would made this series hard to search for. In general, maybe because Kyo was using a different name. So it may find anything about this just harder than normal. Even though it is a Weekly Shonen Jump series. So it's just, I don't know what's so different about this. And then the chapter title is just straightforward, an introduction to the main character. That's all I have to say about Under Doctor. I see a lot of potential in this series. I'm already liking it first chapter. I hope it doesn't get too crazy, too just out there. I think that is what will kill it, because that seems to be the trend. If you let it be more mellow, but then of course, like, who knows what people really want? It wasn't perfect at all, which I really like, but who knows where it's going to go from here? Because once they need to start selling it, or it starts looking like, oh, it's going to dip a bit, they just make it crazy. And I hope that doesn't happen in this, because I really want this series to be one that lasts and one that I really like. But we'll just have to go from there. But let me know what you thought of Under Doctor. If you agree, disagree with me. I expect a lot of people just disagree with me, but I feel like people who like Lupin the Third and those kind of stories with that kind of vibe will probably really like this if it continues like this. So let's talk about it more. You can do that in comments. You can do that on social media. Email me. I have a Discord. We can talk there. All different ways to get in touch with me. You can find links in the description. But that is all I have to say. Thank you when you want to watch. Thank you especially to my Ko-fi and Patreon supporters, Vic Slab and Julio Vasquez. If you also want to help support me, you can do it on there. You get these shoutouts. You get notes to videos I make like this one. You get stories I write, all kinds of stuff. But that's going to be it for this Otakutainment Reviews. I've been your Otakutainer, theacstories. Until next time, bye.